Nigel Farage has shown his true colours, but then again I suppose it's not really surprising. In an interview with Sky News, the interviewer did a really good job of skewering him on supporting Donald Trump or going against him, as Donald Trump has said that it was Ukraine's fault for starting the war, when we know full well it was Putin and his Russia. So although he does eventually say that it was Putin that started the war, it's very clear that he's siding with his friend Donald Trump. And watch how he folds his arms and gets very defensive when he starts getting questions he doesn't like. He also shared a stage with Steve Bannon, who's also done a Nazi salute, so it seems now that they're quite open about it and not afraid of any repercussions, so it's clear that fascism has returned.
The only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat, we're not going to surrender, we're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight!
During his speech on stage, Nigel Farage, a sitting British MP, slags off Britain. That's right, he's not just a mouthpiece anymore. He's not just someone that can just spout absolute nonsense. He's actually there, and as is an MP, he's representing the country. Not in an official capacity, obviously, but he's still a member of the British Parliament. And yet here he is, slagging off the country, telling everybody that we don't have freedom of speech. What he doesn't understand is freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. And inciting violence during a riot is going to have consequences. But on a side note, he also shared the stage with former Prime Minister Liz Truss, who plans to set up her own Truth Social GB News type of right-wing social media platform.
We have seen what independent media has done for the United States, and we want some of that. That's why we are going to be establishing a new free speech media network in conjunction with our American allies. It will be uncensorable and uncancelable. It will take on the Britain-bashing corporation, which is what we call the BBC. It will take on Starmer and his socialists, and it will take on the censors of Germany. Because it's only by telling people the truth, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, in the Anglosphere, in America, that we will turn our backs on the war's West against itself.
She clearly hasn't seen that GB News lost $40 million in revenue last year. Saying that, it probably only lasts about 50 days anyway. And not many people probably heard it because the room was empty.
Our strategy appears to be backing up Ukraine for 3 years into an endless war that they are going to lose at massive cost. So I absolutely applaud the fact that he's talking to both sides. We haven't seen the full shape of the deal yet, but there is going to be a deal, and let's hope there's going to be peace. Now, Donald Trump has a particular beef with Ukrainian governments over the last few years. It led to an impeachment because of the relationship with the Biden family. And I tell you what, Zelensky, whether you like him or not, has to have elections at some point in time. So let's look big picture. And the big picture is that Trump is doing a great job. Take everything Trump says, not literally, truthfully, but not literally. And you guys, this is typical of UK media, you're hung up on the use of a word. He's launched a peace process that might save hundreds of thousands of lives.
What do we have if we don't have words?
Very important words, P-E-A-C-E. That's the big word that matters.
Why hasn't Donald Trump articulated that? Because what he has articulated are falsehoods, one of which is Ukraine started the war. Do you think Ukraine started the war?
I mean, read the words carefully. He doesn't literally say Ukraine started the war. Vladimir Putin started the war.
Didn't he? Didn't he say literally that Ukraine started the war? Are you saying that he didn't?
Okay, he did. If you're happy, he did. Do you think it's good we got peace negotiations?
Well, it's not a question about anybody being happy. It's a question of what the President of the United States, the single most influential individual in solving this conflict, potentially, actually said.
Putin started the war. We all know that. What he's talking about are the causal factors that go back for years. You know what they are. I know what they are. My country, you can't say anything or you might get put in prison. We're getting poorer. Everybody's miserable. We're governed by a left-wing, awful government. I am now leading Reform UK, and we are now topping every opinion poll in Britain. And we are going to win the next general election and save our country. We're going to do it. But we've had enough of free speech being cracked down upon. We've had enough of two-tier policing, two-tier justice. different groups of people being treated differently by the law. We've had enough of being told, you can't say that. The hell with it. Within the limits of what free speech gives us, we should be allowed to say whatever the hell we want. And we will. And we will. We will deport those who come into Britain by dinghy illegally. We will make sure that those to come to Britain legally subscribe to our shared values.
It's clear that all these Trump fans are quite happy to turn a blind eye to Russia's atrocities and claiming that it's actually Ukraine's fault for the war. Whether you're on the right or the left of politics, the fact should still remain, regardless of your feelings on the matter. So somebody might need to tell GB News that, because they seem to have lost the plot. Which you can see in the video that's on screen now. So go watch that next. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.